Okay guys, this is part 2 of today's longer video. Sorry that I had to end the last one abruptly, but I'm at a park, and so there just kept being more and more people that kept coming to the pavilion where I was doing the video, and I tried to just continue, but the more people that came, it just seemed like I needed to move on. So now we're going to try with me walking and talking for a little bit. I generally don't tend to like walking and talking videos, so I'll probably make this part 2 very short just to wrap up a couple of things I was saying to finish the thought. And we'll see how it goes. If you guys have an opinion, if you like walking and talking videos, or if you don't, please feel free to let me know. But at least this way, we won't necessarily get overrun by other folks in the park. So I think what I was saying at the end of the last video is that fasting is good for burning the stored fat you already have, because as you go through the course of your day, doing all the things you do in the course of your day, you have to have energy. And if you are not taking in new calories, you're definitely going to need to pull that energy from somewhere. And so that's why fasting can be really good for weight loss through fat burning, because your stored fat is stored calories. Like that's what the body does. Now, you can't just starve yourself the entire time and just completely run off your fat storage, because obviously you'll be hungry and miserable. And also because that's not healthy either. There's a difference between fasting and starving, right? Fasting can be a strategic, healthy tool that you use intermittently in whatever safe methods you practice through the advice of experts, not me, but, experts. And starvation is when you just do not have access to food and you starve. Whether you do that to yourself on purpose or, whether it's imposed upon you. And that is not a strategic tool. That is not healthy. So do not recommend. But, so even while you're fasting, you still want to be mindful of all the things you need to provide your body with so that it can function optimally, even during those hours when you are choosing to fast. So enough hydration. Of course, I'm functioning with the idea that you're having enough sleep and good, healthy ways to manage your stress, like all that stuff. But also specifically nutrients, because of, the healthy foods you choose whenever you do break your fast. I've heard some people talk about supplements, and I do take vitamins, but I don't think vitamins are even a replacement for, good healthy nutrients you get in whole foods. So that's just my amateur opinion. I will take my vitamins first thing in the morning every morning, and I do believe they help, but I don't take them instead of food totally. But anyway, I hope I'm not rambling too much. But so yeah, you're fasting and your body is burning the fat you have stored because you're functioning and requiring energy, and you haven't put anything new in to burn, so you're burning your fat that is stored. And You are feeding your body in between your periods of fasting good, healthy, nutrient-dense stuff. So your body is still getting all the nutrients it needs to in the forms of vitamins, mineral, macros, micros, all that, when you break your fast and you have those healthy meals. And the other thing that happens with fasting that I can't look at my body on the cellular level, so I don't have any, direct observable proof of this, only how I feel in this body. But one of the benefits of fasting is that there's this thing called autophagy. And again, you'll want to do your own research and educate yourself about this. I don't want to miss saying any important details about this natural biological process the body does. I don't want to get any of it wrong or forget any important bits, but autophagy is one of the mechanisms that your body goes into when you fast. And from what I understand, the longer you fast, the more period of autophagy your body experiences. And autophagy literally means like eating yourself, which sounds horrible, right? Except that if you think of it in terms of a way that your body recycles, on the cellular level, like going up and collecting up the recyclables and then digesting those and using whatever it can use to like be very efficient. And again, this is a natural, normal biological process. And it was probably maybe a lot more useful back in the day when we didn't live in the modern world and we didn't have like food readily available at all times, maybe too available, or maybe things that, nowadays aren't real food. But back in the day, there might be a lot of periods where you had a lot of fasting just because of the nature of the scarcity of food. And so your body would still need to run, and it would make do with whatever nutrients you did give it. But then it would go looking inside itself to not only burn off any stored fat for energy, but it would also take maybe old cells, dead or dying cells, injured cells, and it would, digest those, recycle those, and help use the nutrients available in that material to continue to help provide the rest of the body with what it needs. Because your body's always regenerating, right? It's always consuming and digesting and then producing, new cells and energy and all that. So that nutrients has to come from somewhere, which is why it's so important that when we eat nutrient-rich foods, right? Some people say garbage in, garbage out, but in any case, so what they have found is that this autophagy natural process is very regenerative. It really boosts the body's efficiency and ability to, recycle and regenerate its materials. And it's kind of a cleaning house. So autophagy, although it has like this terrible name, is actually a very beneficial process when it's in, the right proportions. And so fasting is pretty much one of the only ways that your body will go into that process. Because if you think about it, if you keep putting plenty of inputs in and your body's busy processing that all the time, then it never really needs to go looking in the dusty corners and recycling stuff in the rest of your body. Fasting is one of the things that promotes autophagy, and autophagy promotes healing. Some people think that it decreases inflammation because it's getting rid of all the little broken or dying bits inside your body and repurposing them in better ways. And so some people believe it can help reduce inflammation and decrease the chance of disease. Some people believe that autophagy is really good at fighting cancer. So yeah, again, do your own research, but I hope that's a little bit of a picture of one of the benefits of fasting if we're looking at the autophagy factor. And, one thing I want to say about that too before I go ahead and end this video is that your body has a whole period of natural fasting while you're sleeping. Whether you're sleeping 5 hours a night, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever, you're sleeping, so you're not eating. And your body is supposed to focus on other processes during those hours, namely, rejuvenation and healing. And so this is part of why I don't like to go to bed with a full belly. I like to finish my eating by 7 o'clock so I have a couple of hours for my body to digest while I'm still awake, because I want my body to focus on the regenerative and healing processes that, it's good at doing at night while I'm sleeping. Now I'm getting the storage notice, so I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you were able to hear me and understand me and you didn't get much motion sickness. And hope that answers some questions. I'm sure I forgot some things, but thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And I hope you have a beautiful day.